it's AG and today I will be doing my first manga wrap up. I have been reading and watching manga for about 11 years now, and I don't know why I didn't incorporate it here on my booktube channel, but here we are now. The first one I read was Kakegurui Compulsive Gambler Volume 1. The story is by Homura Kawamoto and the art by Toru Naomura. I talked about this before in my last TBR. I watched the first season of the anime a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it, so I thought I would give the manga a try. It's about a high school where rich kids in Japan go to. There's this strict social hierarchy with at its center gambling, and that is literally what all these kids do during breaks and after school. Out of nowhere, this new girl called Yumeko gets transferred to the school, and she basically starts taking down all these higher ups by beating them at their own gambling games. It's really funny and dramatic, and I said that I wanted to read the manga because the anime started getting a bit repetitive, because basically you would have Yumiko going against one of these gamblers and they would try to cheat, and then she would find out that they're cheating and then beat them at their own game, and it was just kind of like the same formula every single episode. So I was hoping that the manga would be more in depth and we would get to know more about Yumeko. And so yeah, I read the first volume and I was planning on continuing, but I sort of lost interest, so I don't think I will continue. The volume that I read was still good, however. Then I also read Happiness by Shizo Oshimi, Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is a vampire manga about a boy named Makoto Ozaki who is in his first year of high school. His life is a series of quiet humiliations, like low-grade bullies and unreliable friends. On one night, however, a pale, thin girl knocks him down in an alley and gives him a choice. And now everything is different. Daylight is searingly bright, food tastes awful, and worse than anything, he has this all-consuming thirst. And now these tiny shames have been replaced by one horror, the truth of what will still his awful cravings. I really enjoyed this manga. This was definitely my favorite in this wrap-up. However, it is slightly sexual, but in the larger scheme of the story, it isn't that overt. If you're looking for a bit of a darker manga to quickly read through, then I would definitely recommend this. I honestly read these volumes in no time. The dialogue isn't complicated and the art is great. In terms of pacing, it did a great job of laying the foundation for future volumes. After reading these two, I have a good sense of who the characters are and what the story is all about, so I am very excited to read more volumes. Then I also read 3 volumes of Fairy Tale Battle Royale by Soraho Ina. This manga is about a 9th grader called Kuninaka Aoba who gets mercilessly bullied at school. At some point, she receives a magical contract that will grant her her greatest wish in exchange for playing the role of Alice in Alice in Wonderland. Thinking it just to be a joke, she writes down her wish and she gets sucked into this book and ends up in a world with different areas that are from different children's stories. The weird thing, however, is that the characters of these stories are wandering there, but as zombies. And so Aoba quickly realizes that this is a world in which it is either kill or be killed. Unfortunately, I didn't really enjoy this manga. I had sort of high expectations and it didn't even come close. I mean, the title says Battle Royale, and after 3 volumes I was just like, where is it? The pace was so slow. The first 3 volumes were really just about the world building, and it was super complicated and vague. And what added to that was that the main character, Aoba, was really bland, and we got to see no character development or even just character building in these volumes. And there were parts where things started to pick up, but the tension was immediately deflated. In the story, Aoba has a book, and she can use that book to get back to the real world by bookmarking a page. So whenever the stakes got high, like for instance she was getting attacked, she could just bookmark a page and just So that was very disappointing. However, I think the worst thing about this manga was that almost every single man was a disgusting pervert. I mean, like, Oba's teacher would be having private conversations with her that felt incredibly awkward. Also, keep in mind, this is a 9th grade teacher and he would be spying on the female students in the bushes. I mean, in the 3rd volume, it turned out that the guy who was helping Oba was also a pervert, and there was a serial rapist, and I was like, you know what? I don't need this. I'm Gucci. I don't need to read any more volumes. I also read volume 1 of Hour of the Zombie by Tsukasa Saimuru, and it was bad. It was devastatingly bad. I don't even know what to tell you. Oh boy. So, Hour of the Zombie takes place at a school in which there is a zombie outbreak. The thing that is different about these zombies in this manga is that they turn back into humans, and on the first day in this volume that happens about 3 times. So it's like, I'm a zombie, I want to eat your brains. No, I'm a human, but I want to bite your face off. Oh, no, I will eat your heart. It's kind of like that, because it happens in such quick successions. It feels like they change every half an hour or hour. Anyway, my issue with this manga is that it is so over the top, it's so erratic and dramatic that it just becomes laughable, really. I mean, the characters are so unlikable and dumb. Oh gosh. Okay, so I will give you an example. So the main character is called Akira, and he is basically in love with his best friend. However, she actually fancies his friend, and so he gets friend-zoned, like, hard. In the first outbreak, this girl gets bitten, and so she tries to eat Akira's face off. But moments before she does, she turns back into a human. She's all in shock or whatever, and he's like, no, it's fine, it's cool, we'll try and see what's happening. So a few moments later, she turns back into a zombie. And so Homegirl is trying to eat Akira again. So what he does is duct tape her mouth and literally hog ties her. He hog ties her like this. Oh my gosh. And so evidently she turns back into a human and she is freaking pissed. She's like, you hog tied me? She didn't say that, but that's basically the gist. And guess what happens? She turns into a zombie again. At this time, however, Akira is in a safe space and the zombies are outside. And so instead of like staying there and trying to preserve his own life like a normal person, he goes outside because he wants to bring the zombie back into the school so that he can protect her because she means so much to him. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. It was really bad. Maybe I'll read volume 2 for laughs, but probably not. Then finally I read volume 1 and volume 2 of Wonderland by Yugo Ishikawa. This manga is about a girl named Yuko who wakes up to find that she has shrunk significantly in size. At first this might not seem as such a big of a deal, but when you realize that you as a doll-sized human become prey for things like cats and birds, then that's pretty messed up. Yuko quickly learns that she's not the only one who has shrunk in size, and thus starts her struggle to stay alive whilst fleeing giant predators and twisted dangers. I like this manga. I felt that from the start it had a lot of potential and it really improved in the second volume. I do have to say that I felt it to be a bit choppy, in the sense that I felt that some of the panels cut the scenes quite abruptly. It just felt like they forgot some parts of scenes, but I definitely had less of that feeling as I continued. The pace of the story was fine, and I felt that the storyline was interesting as well. You had these two mysterious characters, which kind of reminded me of the whole L situation in Death Note. Anyway, we're slowly starting to get to know more about these characters and their story, and I am really excited to read more. Either way, that was all of the manga that I recently read. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.